FEMA yanks back $80 million that New York City meant to cover hotel costs for migrants. Now, Kristi Gnome is taking credit for this. Elon Musk has said, hey, this is going to high-end hotels in New York City. We didn't authorize that. You got all kinds of accusations of Elon doing crazy stuff and Kristi Gnome taking credit. Now Eric Adams is going to have to meet with Tom Homan, the new border czar. We got drama. We're going to read 4 stories today that covers this. We don't know whether we're coming or going, but we're just going to read these stories and figure it out. Here we go. So we got these federal funds that the Biden administration, big shocker there, promised to City of New York to cover the criminal illegal immigrants. Yeah, nice choice, guys. But anyway, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has clawed back more than $80 million from New York City officials said Wednesday, escalating a dispute between the Trump administration and the nation's largest city over money for sheltering migrants. Now, remember, Eric Adams, he spoke up on this, and he basically, when Sleepy Joe was in office, he was like, hey, we need some federal money up in here in New York City because Texas and Florida is just overloading us with illegals, and we don't have the resources to handle this. They're basically going broke, as are all of these big, liberal, blue sanctuary cities. They don't have the money for it. None of these cities have the money to do this, but because they're virtue signaling, they're just going to go down that road and say, oh yeah, sanctuary city, we'll help you out. No problem. We'll get somebody to pay for this. You know who's going to end up paying? You and me, taxpayers. That's what's happening. I mean, that's who the government is anyway, right? The move came as a federal judge said he wouldn't stop FEMA from reclaiming the funds. You're going to have attorneys involved. You're going to have judges involved. This is just going to get super messy. And that's what happens when somebody finally pushes back on the government. And that's what DOGE is doing. I don't see it any other way. Gone is a $59 million grant that the administration challenged earlier in the week, and another awarded for $21.5 million, said City Comptroller Brad Lander. Money was discovered to be missing overnight. Oops, we're missing $80 million. Oof, that's not good. Lander said no one in his office has been aware that the federal government had access to the city's bank account. Huh. Weird. Yeah. Just go in there and scoop that money back. Just claw it back. Literally term, right? Clawing that money. Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, said city officials had contacted the White House about getting money back, and they're seeking an emergency meeting with FEMA and exploring legal options. Yo, Donald. I know we're best buddies. This is Eric Adams, right? Because he's been to Mar-a-Lago and he went to the inauguration super last minute. He's best buddies. And, Justice Department has basically said, yeah, all those charges against you that were bogus anyway, yeah, we're going to recommend that those don't move forward. So, hey, all that legal stuff you had going on, you're a free man. But now it gets tricky because Adams needs that money, and yet it's the Trump administration and his cohorts, Elon Musk and DOGE, pulling the money back, with Kristi Gnome taking some of the credit with Department of Homeland Security. Adams said he would discuss the matter with President Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, when they meet in New York on Thursday. And then we've got what are we today? We're the 18th of February. On March 5th, we're going to have testimony by not only Eric Adams, Mike Johnson, and Let's Go Brandon Johnson from Chicago on all the money that's been spent in these big sanctuary cities. This is going to become, it's already a hot topic, right? But it's going to have the focus put on it. That'll be entertaining. It's the first big test, having this money yanked back. It's the first big test for Adams' relationship with Trump's team after the U.S. Justice Department on Monday directed federal prosecutors in Manhattan to drop corruption charges. We've just got shenanigans going left and right here, don't we? I mean, it's the grants, the $80 million we're talking about, were awarded during the administration of Democratic President Sleepy Joe, but were not dispersed until last week. Soon after, Trump advisor Elon Musk flagged $59 million in payments, writing on X that his so-called Department of Government Efficiency Look at the Associated Press. Just liberal, just biased, just biased. You know, they put it in there, and you know, if you're not used to reading the news or you don't pick up on that, his so-called Department of Government no, that's what it's called. You can question what it is, but throwing that in there, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Because you think that the Democrats had it right and they should just hand out millions and millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars, taxpayers' money to illegals come into the country? Why? Why would you think that? Well, anyway, so Doge had discovered the money was used to house migrants in luxury hotels. Musk gave no evidence to support his claim. Okay. What comes to mind there is the Roosevelt Hotel. That used to be a really nice hotel, but it's no longer really nice. And that's the one that Kristi Gnome is claiming that, you know, housed Tren de Aragua. Yeah, it did. And also housed the killer of Lake and Riley. Yeah, it did. I mean, these are known stories, but whether or not we've got money going to luxury hotels, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. In the last 2 years, New York City has leased several budget hotels and other vacant buildings, turning them into migrant shelters. So this story just kind of, it goes in a whole bunch of different directions. Here's the other one. Mayor Eric Adams to meet with border czar as FEMA pulls funds for housing migrants in New York City. Yo, Tom, you guys yanked my funding. We need that back. Yeah, Eric, hey, you know what? I did you a solid and I recommended those charges be dropped, you know, as borders are. Got some I don't know. I mean, all of this stuff, right? This is politics. This is straight up politics because Justice Department did not dismiss Eric Adams' charges based on the merit of the charges. They basically said, hey, yeah, these charges came at a time that, you know, made it pretty awkward for you to be functioning as mayor. They said that. And also, I mean, he's got a campaign going. He's, you know, rerunning for mayor of New York City. And so Justice Department said, based on this and based on this, not necessarily merit of the case or lack of merit, as some would say, because I looked at those charges and I was like, what? This is what you're charging him with? Kind of like Letitia James in, you know, the Trump case. You're like, that's what you're charging him with? Really? All right. Okay. All eyes are on Mayor Eric Adams as FEMA has pulled millions of dollars in funds for housing migrants. His critics are calling on him to do something and prove himself in light of optics that he has cozied up to President Donald Trump after the Justice Department instructed prosecutors to dismiss his bribery case. All right, so they're going to get together. They're going to discuss whether the clawing back of the 80 million was legal. New York City cannot take this lying down. I call on the mayor to immediately pursue legal action to ensure the tens of millions of dollars stolen by Trump and Doge are rightfully returned. This is some guy from New York City, right? Is he the comptroller? Yeah, I believe he's the comptroller. We don't really care. It's just some numbnut just saying, give us our money back. We need to spend it on the illegals. Don't care if we spend it on the illegals, you know, luxury hotels. You know, we are a sanctuary city. This is what we do. Meanwhile, the budget has just gone absolutely sideways. And I think people in New York City are like, what are you doing? Why are you spending all that money? Why are you spending all of our taxpayers' money on those guys? What about us? We need some money. Under city law, New York must offer shelter to anyone who needs it. And I was talking about this yesterday. And at the time, the regular homeless shelter system was overwhelmed with new arrivals. The hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel they're talking about, now serves as both the place where migrants go to apply for services and as a temporary shelter for hundreds of families who can stay for only 60 days. We talked about that. It used to be 30, 60, and then singles for 30 days. I mean, the amount of money is just insane that is being spent back. Here's Kristi Gnome, and here's her perspective on what's going on here. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Gnome said Wednesday she has clawed back a payment by FEMA to hotels housing migrants in New York City. I've clawed back the full payment that FEMA deep state activists unilaterally gave to New York City migrant hotels. Interesting. Deep state activists. I wouldn't say she is incorrect. I wouldn't say she's incorrect based on what Doge is digging up, right? She posted on social media platform X, FEMA was funding the Roosevelt Hotel that serves as a Tren de Aragua base of operations and was used to house Laken Riley's killer. You know, the whole Roosevelt Hotel thing to me, you read about this and you're like, they're just housing a whole bunch of illegals in there that are committing crimes left and right. They had scooters lined up. I mean, dozens and dozens of scooters because these people would, illegally go out and steal from people and make illegal deliveries, and had all kinds of these gigs going on where they were just doing a bunch of legal stuff. Most of the scooters didn't have licensing, didn't have registration. Most of the people riding them around didn't have licenses. But hey, you know what? You're an illegal? Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So here's what Secretary of Department of Homeland Security says. This is Christy Gnome. I have clawed back the full payment that FEMA deep state activists unilaterally gave to New York City migrant hotels. FEMA was funding the Roosevelt Hotel that serves as a Tren de Aragua base of operations and was used to house Laken Riley's killer. Okay? Yeah, all true. All true. Mark my words, there will not be a single penny spent that goes against the interest and safety of the American people. So you've got some folks that are saying, hey, you took our money back going to the homeless people. What are you doing? And then you've got others like Christy Gnome saying, yeah, we're not going to spend money on this ridiculousness. We're just not. Jose Ibarra, who was convicted of murdering Georgia nursing student Laken Riley, asked for plane tickets to Atlanta at the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan in 2023. New York City has helped arrange travel from places in the city for people seeking asylum. President Donald Trump, as well as members of his administration, have expressed disagreement with the city's management of migrants, associating some with criminality. Yeah, absolutely. Noem wrote in her social media post, to mark her words, not be another single penny. Sending this money violated the law, this is Musk, and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals. All right, well, I am looking forward to Musk coming up with, where do you have proof for the high-end hotels? I don't really care one way or the other. I don't want it spent on this stuff. I just don't. These illegals shouldn't be in the country, just shouldn't be here. Remain in Mexico and wait your turn and then come on in and we will have vetted you. In the meantime, we're not going to be spending literally millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Chicago has spent somewhere around $300 million on the illegals, just taking care of the illegals. And that's money they should be using for, the plethora of issues that faces Chicago, budget deficit and all. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff going on and hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent on these illegals. It makes no sense. Let's look at the New York Post. Elon Musk claims FEMA sent $59 million, but City Hall says there's more to the story. Oh, that's not what's happening, Elon. That's not what's happening. Here's New York City Hall officials. City Hall officials told the Post that no one has reached out for action on Musk's demand. They also issued a statement denying Musk's assertions that carefully avoided naming the mercurial billionaire or explicitly saying he was dead wrong. Yeah, you're wrong, but we're not going to call you out, and we're certainly not going to call you by name because we don't want you to come after us. The hands-off approach, that's well written. The hands-off approach to Musk coincided with Mayor Eric Adams convening a meeting of his top commissioners to tell them to avoid criticizing Trump in order to avoid putting billions in federal funds for the city at risk. Yeah, we're getting a lot from the orange man bad guy, so maybe don't say anything critical. Just keep your effing mouth shut. Politics, right? Be smart about it, people. We're in New York City and we're in this liberal bubble and we can say whatever we want. Well, that's not going to work out all that well with current administration. Only 19 million of the 59 million that Musk highlighted in his tweet will go towards housing migrants in hotels, luxury or otherwise, the official said. Well, where's the rest going? I mean, do we really care if you're spending it on the illegals? I say no. Just don't spend it. Got to deport some people? Got to deport some people. There's some point in time at which the spigot gets turned off, just boop, and that gate is closed. And that time is now. So you're going to see tons and tons and tons of stories about this and the impact on the poor illegals. They've been getting a free ride for a long time, and most of them should not be here. They don't have the legal claim to asylum. They don't qualify, but they've just been let in by Sleepy Joe because Sleepy Joe was literally asleep at the helm. Somebody else was running it during those last 4 years. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, for sure. Because Sleepy Joe wasn't making any decisions. He wasn't capable. He was a well-intentioned elderly man that was losing his memory. That's what the Her report came out with, right? I mean, pretty straight up. Hey, nice guy, but losing his effing mind. We've already spent over $7 billion on this crisis alone, and the previous administration committed only $237 million in funding to help house the migrants in our care and our future, the City Hall statement read. Well, that's your problem for being a sanctuary city, you numbnut. I mean, it just really is. You're the one that said, oh yeah, we'll take them. You didn't have to do that. A lot of Republican cities didn't do that. A lot of Republican cities sent their criminal illegal aliens to you. And that's why you ended up with them. That's why you ended up with Laken Riley's killer in the Roosevelt. Because you said, we'll take them. Greatest thing ever. Kind of like defunding the police. Just poop. I mean, where's that getting you? We have continued to receive previously allocated reimbursements through the past week. We will discuss this matter directly with federal officials. Good luck with that. I don't think you're getting your money back. Many of Musk's claims couldn't immediately be confirmed, as the brash Tesla mogul didn't disclose details about the money in his incendiary screed, which he coupled with a tweet endorsing the firing of FEMA officials who okayed the funds. Yeah, that's one as well. 2 FEMA officials got canned. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. So you got storylines going all over. Here's another couple that aren't directly related, but they're good to know. This is good to know information. ICE highlights arrests of gang members, violent offenders, and deportation crackdown. So these are some of the people that came in the weekly wrap-up, the worst first. Okay, we got a raper here. Carlos Alberto. He was a rapist. All right, we got sexual assault, Cesar Augusto, and lewd things with children. Here we got a Tren de Aragua gang member, larceny and illegal presence, aggravated assault with Denisila Julia Mejia Thomas. We got Enemias Chile Martinez with assault, and DUI. Oh, we got murder. Julio Cesar up for murder. Ooh. We got Pedro Medina Velez Valso, lewd acts with a child. Rutillo Alvarado Carranza, aggravated assault. We got Victor with assault and child sex abuse. Oh, these are some sweethearts. So, when you hear your liberal friends say, but they're arresting the children at school, they're separating parents from their children. Now, I'm not really seeing that. And if they are separating kids from their parents, these aren't parents you want to have kids around. You know, you got child sex abuse on the screen right here. So, know what I'm saying? It kind of goes down to that, hey, we're not spending any more money on having these Looney Tunes run around, but what it's going to take is it's going to take such resources to basically go in and grab these folks and then get them out. I mean, the numbers have been slow, according to Tom Homan. The numbers have been slow. Numbers have been okay as far as people deported, according to Trump. But, you know, they're always going to say, hey, we want to see more of these criminal illegal aliens deported because that makes you and I safer. We'll see, right? We'll see. So that is where we sit right now. We got a bunch of accusations. We got money being pulled back. We got criminal illegal aliens being deported. A lot going on. Thanks for being here. We'll keep covering it. Make sure you subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.